I love a good reset, whether or not it's a new day, a new week, a new month, but a new year. This is where I thrive. And I finally figured out what works for me when resetting for an entire year. I feel like in years past, I've definitely tried to do so much and put so much expectation on myself to be a new person from December 31st to January 1st. Like, that is just not realistic. And I feel like the last year when I did my annual reset, it was a lot more just attainable. Now, did I fall off of some things? Yes. But this is why we have a new year, to figure out some new habits and some new ways of implementing goals and expectations for ourselves. And I'm very excited to do that in today's video. I feel like everyone has different expectations and needs and wants when they click on a reset video. So I want to go through everything that you can expect in today's video so you know if this is for you or not. So you're going to see some of those staples. We are going to be tweaking the vision board concept to better fit my goals and expectations for the new year. I realized that making your classic physical vision board just doesn't help me for the entirety of 12 months. So we're going to be tweaking that to better fit my needs. I love a good journal prompt, so we are of course going to be doing those end of the year, new year reflection prompts. I love sitting and reflecting about the past year and everything that's happened while also sitting with intention on the upcoming year. Something a bit different I'm going to be doing this year is creating a 1 month and 3 month plan while also writing out my ideal morning, day, and night routines. This is something I haven't done in the past. I mean, maybe I've done it on a random week where I'm like, this is my ideal morning routine. But sitting with like the intention of, this is what I would love to see myself get to, and then creating those like 1 month and 3 month plans are going to be much more attainable for me to like set these goals and have these end goals be in near sight rather than setting, I hope by the end of the year I get to this. So that's something different I'm going to be doing in today's video. For my reader pops, I'm of course going to be showing you my 2025 reading journal setup and talking about my Goodreads goal. Now, the whole new year goals setting is very intimidating. I kind of want to approach it differently where I'm writing out for each of these categories like health and personal, career, financial, relationships, like just writing out like a paragraph of what I want to see in more of a manifestation way rather than I want to make this much money. I want to make 3 new friends, but more like, what is my life like in those 5 categories? I'm going to be resetting my budget sheet. I will show you guys what that will look like and why it works for me. And I believe the last thing we'll cover in the video is my Notion. I absolutely love Notion, and I feel like doing a Notion tour is just so fun, and it makes me excited to track things and continue to meet goals because I'm just seeing it on an aesthetic page that I worked hard to make. So with that, let's get started. I have set the scene for our end of the year reflection goal setting session to be absolutely perfect. Like, this ambiance is everything I need and more right now. I have my laptop here with my lifestyle Pinterest board up on it. It's essentially this board that I add to throughout the year of these pictures I see, quotes, just these small things to help me envision a lifestyle that I would love to live. And then I have my candle burning. It's a Marshmallow Fireside by Bath & Body Works. Please comment down below, what is your favorite Bath & Body Works scent? Because I feel like everyone has a scent that is their comfort scent. This is mine. I would burn this year round. It's just so cozy to me. I have my matcha that I made, and to kind of romanticize it, I put it in my pink bow glass along with a heart-shaped straw. Are you kidding? She's gorgeous. And she actually tastes good. And then I do have my Kindle here with my journal just because it just looks pretty. It's nice to sit here and look at. But the star of the show, why we're here today, is I have my journal here. And I have it with my end of the year reflection in my new year page that will kind of have all my goals that I was talking about. So I believe the foundation of this entire video really is the end of the year reflection, because that is what allows us to think upon the past year and see what we liked and disliked about it. Like, what are things that we're proud of? What are some habits that we made that we want to carry on into the new year? And what are some things that we did that we didn't really like? And so we want to maybe handle that situation differently in the new year. So that's our foundation for then thinking about, how do I want to live in 2025? So I have some questions here. I basically went to Pinterest, I looked at a bunch of different reflection prompts, and then I picked questions that I thought would help me best right now. So I have, what are you most grateful for this year? A classic, but such an important one because we have so much to be grateful for, whether or not it's the small things or the big things. I know every single time that I write them down and I just intentionally sit and think about it, I feel so much better. Like, I used to write down 3 things I'm grateful for every single day, and I felt so good starting my day that way. I should write that down because that's a habit I want to get back into. And then the next one is, what am I most proud of this year? I think everyone has faced different challenges in the last year. And so how did you overcome those challenges? And how did that just make you so proud of yourself? Now I have, how did I change and grow? Kind of similar to the last one, right? I think a lot of people faced many challenges. A lot of people just became so much aware, I think, of a lot of different people in their life in the past year, and that, at least for me, caused me to change and grow a lot. And I think there's just so much growth that happens in your early ages, but there's so much happens every year that I think everyone changes and grows each year in different ways. So I think it's a good thing to just sit and reflect on, like, in the past year, like, what has happened that I've like changed how I view things, or I've grown in a form of like being proud of myself, right? So who did I feel best around? And the next one is, I felt happiest when. These kind of go hand in hand, but the I felt happiest when can be just like an internal only, like nothing to do with anyone else. But I think it is so important to think about who you surround yourself with and who just makes you feel safe and secure, and just you can rely on them, you can count on them. And that follows into the next one, which is what drained my energy this year. That can be people, but that can also just be like my job. That can be like YouTube. I don't know, like whatever it could be. It doesn't have to be people, right? It could just be situations. And I think it's important to see those two things and like what comes to mind when you think of that. I think everyone has a situation, a person that you think of when those questions are asked, at least one. And so I think writing that down and seeing that, being like, okay, is that something that I can change, right? Like if it's someone at your work, well, like maybe you can't change that. But if it's like your work overall, well, maybe that's something you do want to look into changing in the new year. If it's certain friendships, maybe that's something that you can work on. And like, you know what, you just drain my energy all the time. Like, I don't want that in my life. And then for the people that you feel best around, like, reward that. Like, I want to be around those people, and I also want to show my gratitude for those people. So then the last one I have is, what's an epiphany I had this past year? I talked about this in my recent vlog, honestly, so like spoiler on this, like it's to do with my career and my work and my 9 to 5, if you will. Like it, for me, that is just something embodying my career that like I just had this epiphany on, and like how I want to not be a career woman, if you will. Like I want my job, but that job is to help me live. I want to live. I want to experience life. And I think that epiphany is going to be huge heading into 2025. So I'm going to fill out this end of the year reflection prompt, and then I am going to go into my new year. I have 5 categories here: health, personal, relationships, career, and financial. Now, I told you guys I did not want to just like write down like a bullet list of like, this is a goal I have for relationships. Instead, I want to kind of make a vision board out of this, and then basically writing out like just a sentence or a couple words that kind of help me envision how I want my health to look like in the new year, how I want my personal life, my relationships, my career, my financial, like what are some key things that I see for myself in the new year. I think that is how I want to kind of do my goal setting this year for this. So I'm gonna work on this, and then I will see you guys when I'm done. So I just finished my end of the year reflection and setting my goals and intentions for the new year. I'm going to go ahead and keep the reflection side to myself, but I do want to go ahead and share the goal setting and intention side with you because I feel like I benefit so much from other people talking about their aspirations and their goals and the way they describe it. I oftentimes can take inspiration from that and like, oh, I really like how they're talking about that. I want to adopt that for the new year or for the new week or the new month or whatever it may be. So I'm sure editing JC has already put a picture up here to make it a lot easier. Starting off with health, I want to walk more. That's just general movement. Going on walks is so simple. I love living in a walkable area. I'm actually moving in a couple of months locally, but I want to move to an area that is very active and walkable. And so that is going to help a lot with that. I want to build some strength. Honestly, since I stopped playing sports, which sports really just meant basketball at the end of my athletic career, I have just lost strength exponentially since then. So I really don't like that. I want to just feel strong and feel secure in my body. And I have workouts that I would do like every few days and I would be on routines. I've fallen in and out of that. And so I want to build then a routine surrounding that strength goal as well. Hydration. It's always there. It's always there. If you know, you know. My hydration intake is absolutely horrendous. Maybe this is the year. I want to set some boundaries in my personal life. That is going to go a long ways. Journaling is another one because I feel so good when I journal, and then I'll stop like journaling in a routine and all of a sudden I'm in a mental rut. All of a sudden I'm very emotional and like don't know how to handle it. It is absolutely embarrassing because I clearly see the association of consistent journaling versus not. I obviously want to get my puppy this year. That is a big part of why I'm moving, because I want it to be easier than where I'm at now, and I'm looking forward to that change in my life. I want to try something new. Every year I think it's just important to just try something new, try multiple somethings new. I don't know if it's really taking in a new hobby, but just getting to do something out of my comfort zone or just something I haven't done before that I wanted. Offline recharge days. I work a job that requires me to be on my phone often. I have YouTube. I am an Instagram girly. I'm always on media and I want to have those days of unplugging and also routines. I think I talked about this at the beginning of the video, but I can't remember. I want to write out my ideal morning, day, and night routines so I have something to build towards and build on of like, what am I trying to achieve? That's kind of that routine side. For relationships, quality time is a big one for me for giving and receiving, and so I want to make the effort in spending quality time with the people in my life that I care about. I want to explore new areas. That is kind of regarding the like romantic relationship side. Like I need to put myself out there more, which is another one I put on there, because if I want to organically meet someone, I've got to leave the house. But I also need to be in areas that I can organically meet someone. So I'm hoping to move to an area that has a more active community of just people out and about will also kind of help that. Letters, cards, all the things. Like I want to write to people more. I want to send people cards. I want to send people letters. I think snail mail is so precious and just timeless. I wish people did it more. For financial, girl, I have a credit card. I have PayPal credit. There's money on there. Now, while it isn't terrible, I still don't like that I have any. So I want to have no debt, just slowly, chunk by chunk, get away by the end of the year. That is a big goal of mine because I think it is achievable. That's another reason why I'm moving, is so that I can have hopefully less expenses in a month that I can put towards that. General savings. Like I want to then be allocating money towards savings as well. A big thing that my mom has talked with me about, my mom is a financial advisor, is like if I had $200 to put towards whatever my kind of goals are, if you will, well, just because I have over $200 in debt, I shouldn't put all the 200 in there. Like, how about I split 100 towards the debt, 100 towards savings, so that you're kind of working towards all goals. So it's interesting to have like no debt, but also savings. Like that's kind of a thing. Okay, And then weekly check-ins. I was doing this for the first half of the year, and it really helped me with anxiety that came with my money. I would just have these weekly check-ins where I would just like go to a coffee shop, or maybe it's here on the couch, and I would just like go over my budget, go over my spending, and that way if I found that I was on a bad track of spending, like I could correct it a lot sooner. I think without those check-ins, it's easy to go a month, 2 months of bad spending and not really have time to correct myself. And then just my budget, that kind of goes in with the weekly check-ins. I have a budget sheet. I really like the way that I do it. I'll talk about that later when we go through it, but that's a big one with my finances. And then the last category is career. Kind of talked about this with my epiphany, but me first, babes. Me first, career second. I don't want the lifestyle of a career woman where I'm putting my career above relationships that make me very happy. I want a 9 to 5. I mean, I really have those one-off things that make it not 9 to 5, but otherwise I'm in full control, and I think having that routine with work is really gonna help me. That's the same with schedule. So I put schedule and not really routine, but it's like just a schedule. Just I know when I'm working, I know when I'm not. I can really set that. Again, I have these one-off events maybe that happen that require me to work outside of a 9 to 5. Otherwise, I'm fully capable of doing that. And then distancing myself for healthy boundaries. I think I'm a very emotional person and I am an empath through and through. So I can form these attachments with like coworkers from my current office, my previous office. Like remember, guys, I relocated from an office that I absolutely adore. I just wish they were in a warmer place from DC to out here. There's people in both offices that I really appreciate and really like have grown to like. And so as much as I like them, I have to remember that like they are my coworkers, and like people in those positions, like the work is first. And I don't want to form those unhealthy attachments to those people when it's like, this is a business. You know what I mean? It's kind of an odd statement to make, but my empath has been shining bright this past year, and I really don't want that attachment to be there, because then it allows me to feel bad for not working when I don't have to be, and all these unnecessary unhealthy habits. So those are the things that I wrote down for my new year goal setting and intentions all in one. Good morning, it's the next day, and I'm about to head to a coffee shop and do a bit of planning. I'm actually currently making some breakfast before I head out, so I only feel the need to buy a drink and not drink and food when I definitely have food at home to eat. So proud of myself on a budgeting standpoint, but today I am mainly tackling updating my Notion. Now that we've set those goals, I'm going to be planning out my 1 month plan along with my ideal daily morning, night routines, and setting up my budget sheet. So I'm going to do all that. I'll get some time lapses and things like that, but whenever I get back, we will actually talk about it. It's now about 2:30. I just got back from the coffee shop. I just came to my like outdoor area in my community, and tell me why I didn't know we have a heated pool. Like, that thing is warm. Like, that looked so inviting. I like put my hand in it because I was like, am I seeing like steam coming off this? Like, I'm confused. And I was like, this is warm. Oh, it felt so good. But I'm gonna be sitting outside the pool working on this and finishing things up. I felt like Riley and I had a lot of good discussions, and we like just talked through the different things that I'd already like completed for like my Notion, my goal setting, my reflections, all of that. And then she was going through some of the things that she's thought about and like some goals and intentions that she has for the new year and things that she's wanting to do, and just kind of like those mindsets and everything is really good to like talk it all through. And so I completed a lot of things that I wanted to. There's just a few final touches to make, and then hoping that I knock this out in the next 15-30 minutes, I can just give you a tour of everything today. Otherwise, the sun will be down, and I'd rather just have normal daylight to film with. So we can easily do it tomorrow, but hopefully I knock this out soon, and then I can just go home and show you guys everything. I've officially finished everything I wanted to at this point for my Notion, for my budgeting, for my goal setting and planning. And so I want to go ahead and go over everything with you. I'm going to go over my Notion tour first, and then as we hit certain pages, I can kind of discuss more of the other topics. So let me go ahead and hit record. So here is my home page. I wanted it to feel calm and pretty for me, and so I love blues and tans and neutrals. I am a beach girl at heart. And so we are going to circle back to the whole 2025 goals thing, but I wanted to put that up front and center for me to see. Otherwise, I just have your basic calendar, your time, and the quote of even a bad day is just 24 hours. It is so true. I updated the pictures here, so if you've watched my last one, I updated the pictures to kind of reflect different pictures I took from the last year. I overall kept most of the quotes. I kind of just updated the captions if it made sense. And then I did add in this bottom one, self-love is the highest frequency that attracts everything you desire. And if that's not true, then I don't know what is. So I love all of these things. I feel like it just makes me me. And then we have my habit tracker, very similar to last year. I think I only added in one other thing. And so first up, habits, things that I want to be tracking. I get very intimidated by the idea of tracking something for a month or tracking something for a year. Like when you set up your, yearly planner and all of a sudden you have habits in there that you're wanting to track, I get very discouraged if I have a bad week or if I have a bad 2 weeks and I just see a lot of empties, or like maybe I just never filled something out, or maybe I just really sucked at one of my habits. It's very discouraging for me to continue on. So I set up this one that I just update every week. And so at the end of a week, I will just refresh this to be for a new week, and I don't keep the data from the past week. And that allows me to reset and really just focus on the habits that I want to do. It does not matter to me at the end of the year how well I did in the 3rd week of March. I just want to be able to go week in and week out. How am I doing then? And so when I see it and I can fill things out throughout a week, it is motivating for me for the following week, whether or not I did bad or I did good. If I did good, I want to continue to do good. If I did bad, then it's a way for me to just see that. And so my water intake, that's just a goal I generally have for my health in that health category we talked about. My phone up by 9 p.m. That is just a general rule that I have liked in the past, and I think it really helps me kind of wind down for the evening. So I want to see how much I do that, if I read that day, if I journaled that day. And then a new one for me is getting ready. I don't think I've written this anywhere else to talk about, but something that I do want to implement is getting ready for the day. And I've really worked on that in the last 2 weeks of just getting up, and even if I'm working from home that day or it's just a chill day at home, I still want to get up and I still want to get ready for the day. And so that's just changing out of the comfy clothes I wore to bed, maybe into a new set of comfy clothes, but it's still changing out of what I wore to bed. And something I want to implement though that's a bit different than that is Monday through Friday is kind of a work week. Now I do work over the weekend sometimes, so I, in general, want to embody a Monday through Thursday. I am putting myself together as if I had to dress business casual or cute casual, for my job. And then you have casual Fridays. And so I would wear maybe just some comfier clothes that day. But I have so many cute clothes that I just don't wear because I don't make the effort in putting together a cute outfit. And I think implementing this Monday through Thursday is when you dress up for the day, and then having Friday be your comfy casual Friday, and then the Saturdays are always up for debate. In your normal 9 to 5, it's just what are you doing over the weekend? That kind of dictates how you're going to dress for the day. So this is something I want to track as well each week. I have a what this week. I did just update this. I basically had every day, but I use a different app for that to keep my weekly to-do list, which I'll go over after this. So I just did a what this week, and it's kind of some highlights of what is happening this week. So I'm filming this on Sunday, December 29th. You guys saw probably at the top of the Notion page. And tomorrow I'm going to LA with a couple of my friends and just kind of making a day of it. And then we also have New Year's Eve and New Year's Day this week. And so this isn't really tasks. This isn't really things that are always happening. I always have certain work meetings or I always have certain things. It's kind of these out of character things that I have scheduled. Maybe it's plans with friends, maybe it's I have an appointment or whatever, but just kind of a view of overall what's going on in the week. Then I just put in my content planner here. So I just emptied it out. We'll look at it because it is also this calendar tab here. So this is blank. I just use this to track for video. So there's nothing else on here as far as my normal calendar. But I like having just a place for all of that. So that is the end of that page. Moving on, I have my 2025 goals. So this is very similar to my last year's. I don't think I just maybe updated the look of it, but overall, I have the same mindset of goals that I want to be tracking on this page as I did last year. So I still want to be checking my finances weekly. I still want to have the whole spend no money on books. I want to follow the same book buying ban plan that I followed in 2024, which is essentially I only spend like gift cards or reward points because I have a Capital One credit card that I get reward points from, only using those two things to purchase books. And then I can utilize YouTube money how I see fit, but overall I don't make a lot from it, so it's not really going to dictate much, but that is something that maybe I could like look into. But I want to spend none of my paycheck money on books. And then I want a $50 a month budget on cafes. I am a coffee shop lover. I love working at a coffee shop, but I can easily go where I am going there 3-4 times a week, and it adds up really quick. And so I want to go back to having that and something that I'm tracking. The $75 a week on groceries, it basically averages out to $300 a month on groceries, and that is something that I just want to have. Like, it's just something I kind of want to track a bit better. I think it's something that I can also change if I find myself overspending on things. I am a single girly pop. It does not take much for me to eat in a month. So especially when I'm like thinking about my meals and meal planning. So I think that's a fair thing. I'm not worried about going over a week, like $75 in a week. I'm concerned about going over $300 in a month, if that makes sense. So then I added in this section over here that is those five five categories that we talked about yesterday of my goal setting. And so those are each of the colors that are the colors of the pens that I used to create each of those. So that's why they're colored that way. We do have a link here to my notes thing where I talked about my 1 month plan. We'll go over that. And then following though this check, these 4 things, the check finances, spending no money, and then those 2 budgeting items that I want to track a bit better. It's the same thing as last year where I can just put like an X here, like if I succeeded, and then if I'm spending, I can look, and if I spent $10 this week and then next week I spent $20, well, I'm aware that in these 2 weeks, like I only have $20 that I can spend amongst the 2 in order to not go over the $50. So it's just a way for me to see week in, week out, what am I spending. It's not really if I went over or under the $12.50 a week. Same with the groceries. I can kind of just track that here. And then at the end, if I spent $45, or if I spent, $3.20, I like the idea of being able to be like, okay, this is green because I succeeded at that, and then I went over what I wanted to spend, so that is red, which is where here. So just kind of a glimpse into what that can look like when it's all filled out. And then that's just for the rest of the month. I can already hear my computer huffing and puffing with this long screen record. The next step is my 2025 read. So I'll show you the blank page before we get into this, before we get into the 2024 read, so I can show you kind of it filled out. But this is it blank. I love a good clean slate. So I just set up 2 blanks for each month, and then I can add on as we go. So to see it more filled out, it's the same premise as last year, so I didn't change anything for the 2025 one. So this is it fully filled out. Each month I would just fill each of these boxes out and add more as I need them. So looking at one of them, I can just put the title, I can put the date I started and I finished, I can put my rating, I can put the genre. I just have a huge list of the genres. I can put the author. I just typed this one out. Then I can put like the month. I can put whether or not I want to read it, if I wanted to create a TBR on here, if I'm currently reading it, if I DNF'd it, or if I finished it. And then I really like this one, tracking whether or not it's for my library, my physical TBR, if it was a Kindle book, or if it was even an ARC. And then I just have the cover as well. So that is how I track each of those. So I can see it in this view. I can also see it in a reading queue view where I can just kind of under each tab see what I did. Same with my log. It's just another way to view the same information. I really like having all of this laid out for me, so I can also sort it if I wanted to just sort it by my physical TBR, or just sort it by month, or the status, or rating, whatever it may be. So I do really like that. Oh boy. Actually, I can just remove this now that I've shared it with you. Actually I shouldn't until I know for sure that this saved. Let's go to physical TBR. So my physical TBR, I updated this. You can see at the bottom, it says count 139. So that I'm aware of, I have 139 books on my physical TBR. I am set, right? Like, I think we're all aware I'm set. So I just went through and I added the title, the author, the genre, and the status. So I cleaned this up so they are all to be read, but if I finished Iron Flame, I could put finished, or if I'm currently reading it, I do have the option if I wanted to update yet another page saying that I'm currently reading something. I don't often do that. I think I really just update this when I just say finished. And then at the end of the year, I can go through and I can see how many I finished, and when I clean it up, I can see, oh, how much left do I have to read. And so, yeah, I'm very proud of myself because I feel like you saw on the 2024 reads, like there was quite a bit for my physical TBR, but I also bought books, or I was gifted books, or whatever it may be. So I really seeing this throughout the year. Looking at the calendar, just to kind of, I guess, show a little more of it. So this is the overall like view that I can look at, but then I can go by status and I can see ideas that I've put on here. I can add those ideas to filming. I can add those ideas to, hey, it's been filmed, if I'm currently editing, if it's finished edited, if I've uploaded it, if it's scheduled, if it's published. I can do all of that here, and I really like being able to track all of that. So similar, I can just view it in a different way. And looking at my published, this is where I can just have all that information there if it has been published. I don't have anything here published, so it's blank, but that is something I like to see kind of at a glance, and something I want to be better about when planning videos each month or looking into like further months. The content planning overview. So this is where I don't have anything queued up here, but video ideas, I can easily just put out ones that I think would be good for either I can plan at the beginning of the month, or if I know I wanted to film certain videos in certain months, then I can put that here. Hey, like I have an upcoming trip this place. Like I would love to read all cabin books at this cabin Airbnb like I did with Ayana. Like, well, I didn't read cabin books with her, but you get the premise. Like we went to the Airbnb and like, oh, like a readathon would be good in this month because I'm doing that. Like that's kind of what I like, just at a glance, kind of a bullet list, if you will. And then we have planning in depth. I don't know what's on here. So, okay, my 2025 reset. So this is where kind of I created a list of just a bunch of things. So if I went through each of this, like I'm like, oh, like I did that, I did that, I did that, you know, like I can just kind of go through and click everything, and that just gives me a bit more information than simply a 2025 reset. Task list, I don't think there's much on here. I just reset this one as well. So I am currently, like I needed to start my 2025 reset. So I'm currently doing that. Same thing for reading my last book for the Patreon book club. I've edited that. That is done. It is up. Updated my physical TBR. That's talking about this page, and I've done that. So just allowing me to see this. And then if I wanted a calendar view because I've set certain dates for things, I can also have that. Now, I think my notes is kind of where I put down some of my goal planning and my plans. So let's go through it. I wanted to get a glimpse into what my ideal like morning, day, and night routine would be, along with creating a 1-month plan. So that is what I was working on. And I feel pretty good about like where I'm at with things today. This is where I said I feel complete on what I've done. So like on what I can do so far, but a lot of this will just take time and me like learning more about myself, learning more about my schedule, kind of looking up more information. So for my ideal routines, these are the things that came to my mind now. I need to think more on it. I need to just spend time in my day-to-day being very aware and intentional about what am I doing in a day that I like and don't like. So I really want to have the luxury of not being on my phone for the first hour that I'm awake. I have a really bad habit of picking up my phone to see what time it is, and then I'm instantly seeing a bunch of notifications, whether that's work, it's personal, it's text, calls, emails, whatever it may be. And so I'm instantly sucked into like, oh, do I need to reply to anything right now? Babes, it can wait. No matter what it is. Like, your mom is on emergency bypass. If it's an emergency, you're getting that phone call, you're hearing it. So I just bought a cheap, it was under $10 on Amazon, digital clock. That way I can just look over, I can see, because I know what meetings I have first thing, or what my first meeting is, or what my first, item of the day is that I need to be somewhere at a certain time, or if I wanted to be doing something at a certain time. Well, I can look over and I can just see, oh, it is 6:30. Well, that's amazing because I don't have a meeting until 8. That kind of thing is what I need. And so I can now just be up and I don't have to get on my phone first thing. I feel so at peace when I don't have my phone first thing in the morning. So that's a big one for me, and something that I just made an action item for, like, by buying that digital clock. But I was like, I don't need a fancy schmancy clock. I looked up tiny clock and then I put my budget of a max of $10 and I found something that I liked that I thought was cute, and it tells me the time, and that's all I needed. So for another morning thing that I know I want to do is journal or set intentions for the day. Whether or not that's just mindful thinking in the morning or it's physically writing something down, I just want to spend that time, and I think having the no phone for 1 hour is really going to help with that, and just kind of being present with myself and like setting the intentions for the day is so big. I've really focused on making my bed when I first wake up, and it's amazing what something so small can do, because then I walk back into my room 15 minutes later after getting some water, after like getting up and doing whatever, and then like I walk back in my room like, wow, my bed's made. Like, I already did that. So that's like a small thing that I want to keep up. But as far as what I've thought about as far as routines, these are the two things that came to mind. When it comes to daytime, I'm not sure what I envision at this point. I don't know if there's really anything. Daytime is so different for each day. But I'm going to leave it blank for now. I'm going to kind of think on it and circle back, and then hopefully in a week or two, like after thinking about what my daytime looks like and certain things that I'm aware of that I'm doing or not doing, then I can kind of circle back to that. For nighttime, just like the habit tracker I showed on the first page, I want my phone up by 9 p.m. Babes, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. 9 p.m., that is so doable. And for me, phone up by 9 p.m. means I don't want to be on social media. I don't want to be like on it just scrolling. I often use my phone for audiobooks, so me having it running, listening to my audiobook isn't my concern. My concern is I'm sitting there doom scrolling. We don't need that. So I want my phone up by 9 p.m. and then reading for 30 minutes every night. Like, I think that is a perfect way to wind down. I know some nights are later and I just want to go to bed and I just want to throw on my YouTube video, and that is fine. I think I'm allowed that grace, but at the same time, when I know that I just want to be in bed and I'm just like aimlessly like, oh, I want to do something. Like, I need something, because watching this video is not like helping. Read for 30 minutes. So those are the main things that jumped out to me right now. It isn't about I want to wake up at 6 a.m. every day, or I want to do this. Like, every day is a bit different. I want to adapt this as I think more on it. So moving on to my 1 month plan. Now, I wanted to create a 3-month plan as well. That is just going to take a little bit of time as I understand what I want these kind of plans to look like and these goals. And so what I wanted with the 1 month plan is for me to look at those 5 categories of my health, my personal, relationships, financial, career, I think. And I wanted to see what I wrote about what my end goals are and what I want to manifest in a way for my life. What is this routine? What is this lifestyle I want to be living in each of those categories? I wanted to see what I wrote, and then I wanted to see which ones could I kind of tackle this month. Which one, and from each of those, at least one from each was my goal. Like, what can I do to work towards that? So end of the month goals. These are things that I want to be looking at to achieving by the end of the month. So like I said, it's a copy paste of the first page, or shoot girl, I don't know what page this was on, 2025 goals. But where I just said these are the colors that were on my same page in my physical goal planner, in my physical journal. And so then I wrote down these things that I want to focus on in this month. So I colored them based on the category, right? So I want to journal once a day. I would love to journal morning and night. I think settling on by the end of January, I am in a consistent routine of journaling once a day. That's what I want. Alexis ran workout 3 times a week. So in January, by the end of that, like that final week, like I should be able to count on myself to do those workouts 3 times a week. That is something that's the minimum for me. I want to do them more. So starting out with 3 times a week, I think is very achievable. I love the Alexis Friend workouts. It's an ab workout, it's a glute workout, and they're each 10 minutes long. I have no excuse to not do them, and I really enjoy the workout. I feel like I get a good exertion for myself. They're so simple. I think it's a great way to start out. And so the fact that I can just like do them in my room on the carpet, no excuse. So that is a big one for me. I want to put $100 into savings. Now, I want to put more into savings, but I have this like blocker in my brain that like I don't have money, or because I have like debt here, I need to just put any extra money towards that. I need to figure out how to do both. Like I need to like move money around to like $50 there, $50 to savings. You know what I mean? So in general, $100 in a month is well within my means, that I know I can do that. And I think that's just like then a goal that I have, like, hey, by the end of January, you have $100 that you've added to your savings. Especially with moving, especially with everything, like there's a lot of costs that will be coming up. And I think if my money just sits in my account, I'm going to spend it. That's just how I am. So then I have a 1 offline recharge day. This is something that I kind of want to be monthly, but I want to like intentionally think about what day of this month can I do that. It's just putting my phone up, it's putting it on airplane mode. I don't know what it is, but it is just not being on social media, not being just very active within like everything else. I just want a me day and whatever that looks like. So that's a big one. I don't want to work past 5 p.m. Sounds normal. I'm really bad at that. And that means using my time during the day to have more structure. That is a big one I want to work on this year, is just having a schedule with work. I am fully capable of creating that schedule. And so for me, in this month, I want to work by the end of this month. I can count on myself that I am clocking out at 5 p.m. That's really doable. And the final one is for my relationships category. And it's just to call someone I love, whether or not it's a grandparent, a brother, my uncle, I don't know. I mean, I call him often, if I'm honest, but just calling someone that I love that maybe I don't talk to enough. And I think a phone call can go a long way, especially with grandparents or especially with siblings, where it's just like, hey, I just wanted to say hello. Like, that is a little bit out of my comfort zone, if I'm honest, but I think that's something I would love to do. And it's just one person. Like, babes, you can do that. I'm embarrassed to say how long I will go without calling someone, just because it gives me a little anxiety, even though it's someone I love and someone I'm very comfortable with. Something about it. So then to kind of help me track that stuff. So this is another kind of checkbox, or maybe I can write something where journal 1 time a day, right? I want to get to the point that I'm journaling once a day. Well, in the first week, maybe I have 7 days, right? So maybe instead of being like a checkbox, whether or not I did or I didn't, maybe I put like 4 because I journaled 4 times. I don't know. Working out 3 times a week. Well, I can maybe put, and maybe it's a number if I didn't get it, and it's a check if I did. Something like that. But this way I can kind of just see what I did and how I did each week with it. Just something small, something minimal. I think I would just reset this then in a month. And it isn't about keeping track of when I'm in November. It's like, wait, week 2 of January, did you work out 3 times a week? That's not my intent. That's not what I'm wanting. So every month is going to be kind of targeted a bit differently as well. So I don't really care to hold on to this information. This is there to just kind of keep me going each week. And when I'm doing these check-ins with myself weekly, like I can kind of see my progress, and that will help me then planning for the upcoming month. That is the last thing that I was going to show here. I was going to say, do you have any questions? Do you want me to circle back to anything? Comment down below if you have questions. I will gladly answer what I can. So that is that. And then now I wanted to show my 2024, I guess I got to update this, to 2025. This is how I just kind of do a bit of budgeting. Budgeting is not the right word here, honestly. It's a bit more of awareness in my spending. So the first thing I have is goals. I think I showed this last year if I didn't. I just wanted to show kind of an example. So I have my Capital One rewards. If I know that I have this much in it right now, then when it comes to my book buying, then I can say, like, I don't know what this was for. I think it was I don't know if it's like number of books or if it was like the book title, but I don't think it was the book title, but whatever it was. Okay, if I spent $12 on a book, then I know that I have $21.93 left over. Well, sorry. I'm working on the Excel sheet. The premise is I'm using my total here and how much I'm spending to understand how much I have left. So ignoring that side, because I need to do the proper math to be like, no, like that is what that is, but now this is the, you know. So same with cafes. In January, did I succeed or not? 57, shoot, let's not manifest that. But then the next month I did 30 because a miracle happened. You know, like I can just kind of see that. And then same with groceries, how did I do each month? And this also allows me when I come to my mid-year check-in, be like, okay, well, I'm consistently spending $350. No matter what I do on groceries, I feel like I'm always spending over $300. I need to adjust that at the mid-year reset. Well, maybe it's quarterly reset. Like, I need to adjust that when I start to see like, well, no, it's like, that's just going to be what it is. So you need to like adjust then your budgeting and understanding that. And then now, you know, if you're going over 350, like you don't need to go over 350 because you were surviving the first 3 to 4 months perfectly fine on your 350. Stop paying 400. You know what I mean? And then my books bought. This is just a cool way for me to be able to be like, this is what I bought. I guess I didn't show this on the physical TBR, but at the bottom, I have a books bought. I can make a list here, but I also have this small page. I'm concerned by how quiet my computer's being right now. It's like having moments of just like nothing. But I have this here. I actually need to update this banner to like the new cute blue and beige, cream, off-white color. But I have the title here and then the author and then how much I spent. So I did good about tracking this for the first part of the year and then I fell off of it, but I think it's really important to see just how much money I'm spending in general in different places. So this is another one that would help with that, but it's just different ways to see it. And I can just see what books I got. So then I just had a template here. So I have a template on how I've been tracking just how much money I'm putting out. And this has helped me a lot within like what I have left over. So obviously rent is not $10. I just threw in some numbers so you can kind of see. So what I do is I have every day of the month and then I know which bills are coming out which day. So this is just consistent like subscriptions and bills that I know are coming out on certain days of each month. So I have my Wi-Fi, my rent, and then I have it to where like I know if it's coming off my credit card or my debit. And then in the green here is when I get a paycheck. And so for me, I often split up my checks. Like I get paid every 2 weeks. Yes, I get paid every 2 weeks. And so I split it up knowing, hey, this check is really going to be a lot towards rent. And this other check is going to be kind of everything else. So I'll often write here like bills and then like rent or something. And then I have more of that with just different subscriptions or monthly expectations of my money. And then at the end, I've tallied up based on this F column, like what's my total, and then my outgoing is like everything that's here, and then I have what's left over. And then here I'll often put what is my like debit card with my debit balance, and then same with my Capital One credit card, like what is that balance. I also have a PayPal credit. I don't have a card, but I just have PayPal credit, and so I'll put that here as well. So that's something I do for just like visualizing what money is going where and some totals. And then to kind of help me see, I know that like Capital One, oh my gosh, I've never recorded for 30 minutes straight, I think. So I think we're doing good, but to reiterate, I don't know exactly where it cut off my sentence. I have my Capital One here because I am alerted like what is my payment, like what's my statement and what is my minimum payment due. And so I have that, and then I just threw in whatever the interest rate is for that. And then same with the PayPal credit. And then I just like to have my current debit balance here because this allows me to sometimes do some just like math on the fly and seeing like, this is my current balance, okay, and then I know I have, based on this, I know that I'm at the 17th of January, so I know automatically all of this is coming out. And sometimes I like to just do some quick math to see, okay, well then what's my total now, or what will it be after that? Okay, I know I need to get groceries, so that's going to be an extra $75 or whatever. So that's just freedom for me to do some quick math to see some balances. Budgeting for cafes and groceries, if I care to put this here. This is something I fell in and out of doing, honestly, but it's just allowing me to be like, okay, I spent 45 here. Okay, I spent 289. Great. And that's just something each month and I can check. This is a big one. This is not efficient, but this is what I needed to do and I still need to do. I need to physically be forced to look at what I'm spending. I need to be writing it down. You know, like the whole like writing is like, form of writing is a way of learning, right? Like we're gonna remember that information. That's just how I feel about this. So I will go through my debit card and I will go through my credit card and I will see specifically what I bought to then put it in these categories and I can see those totals. So I need to honestly look up a better way of like setting up this Excel sheet. For now, it's quite manual. But if okay, so this is a brief example of how I've filled it out in the past. So I have the fact that I have my bills here. So it's YouTube TV, my gas bill, my phone bill. I have Patreon subscription, more bills. And I have my groceries. But then I separate the fact that at Target, I spent $20 on groceries, but then I spent $5 on a fun item. Same with food here. And then for me, food is different than my groceries. They will most of the time tally up together, but I like to see like, oh, this was me eating out versus this was me just buying groceries. I just like to see that difference. And then same with bills here, and then again, groceries. I saw how much I spent. So then they're automatically tallied up here with seeing each of those columns. So at the end, I get to see kind of how much I spent on stuff. So household, I will go to the grocery store, but then I'm getting a bunch of cleaner stuff. I'm getting a bunch of toilet paper and paper towels. And to me, that's not groceries. Those are like those random household items that you have to get every now and then. And I want to separate that out. So I understand like, oh, I didn't go over budget in groceries. I just had some extra expenses this month because I ran out of things that you do every couple months. So that's kind of an example of how I do this. It is a very long list, but it forces me to see quickly how much money I'm spending in each of these categories. Like the, the bills one, that's just kind of, it is what it is. But everything else, why is this struggling so hard? I mean, the sun is going down, but and it is gloomy, so I'm asking it to do a lot. But this is just how I have done this budget sheet and how it has worked for me. Now, again, I did fall off of this in the last half of the year, but this did feel really good to have, and it forced me to see bad habits a lot quicker. So that is my budget sheet. Now let's go ahead and stop this recording. Oh goodness, that's gonna be fun to have to deal with. So I showed you guys my ideal routines, my 1 month plan, and then my Notion and my budget sheet. So one thing that I also want to do, and at the time of filming this, I haven't done it yet, but Editing JC is gonna put it right here, and that is creating a vision board that is regarding that 1 month plan. I don't want a vision board for the entire year. Now, pause. Did I make a cute one based on some pictures that are already in my Lifestyle 2025 Pinterest board? Yes. I mean, I renamed the 2024 Lifestyle board to 2025, and I just took some pictures that were in there, created this beauty just to have something cute and fun, but it's not something that I made with this intention of like, these are my goals and these are the pictures that best represent that. No, these are just some pictures that I found to be really cute and a life that I would love to live. Back to this. This is better representing my 1 month plan. This is what I want to see on the forefront. I'm going to embed this into my Notion somewhere, somehow. And that way, when I am looking at this stuff a bit more frequently, like that's the plan. I'm going to have that on my 2025 goals page, maybe. I'm going to have it on my notes page. Like I'm going to have it where I am seeing this similarity in my goals and that image, and that is just a boost of motivation. So I want to be making that more consistently throughout the year to kind of target those specific goals I have rather than an overarching 2025 yearly goal vision board thing. So those are all the things that I have for now to share with you. I need to finish my reading journal so that we can do a 2025 reading journal tour. I don't know if that's the right word. Setup, I don't know. And then I will go over my Goodreads goal and one more reading habit that I'm hoping to use in 2025. The last topic I want to talk about in today's video is all things reading for 2025. I'm going to show you my reading journal setup, I'm going to go over my Goodreads goal, and a new habit that I want to pick up in the new year. So this is my reading journal from Archer and Olive. This is the same one from last year, but I didn't use all the pages, so there was no reason to buy a new one just for a new year, and I absolutely love her, and I wouldn't mind going back to some of the spreads from 2024 and updating them. I left some pages blank to do like single book layout pages and like, you know, collages and things like that, and so I still would love to go back and find the time to complete those. But for now, here are all the spreads I have for 2025. I'm gonna do some like overlays or pictures to make it easier, so I can just open this up and hold it without thinking about how well you can see it up close. But I have my title page. I took 2 pages this year. I went with it. I had my scrap paper, I had some tissue paper that I was gifted like for a birthday gift. I'm like, oh, I'm keeping that for the reading journal. And it just says 2025. Pretty simple, but I really love how it turned out. Then, this is gonna be a spoiler. My reading goal for Goodreads in 2025 is gonna be the same as 2024. I'm having 75 books as my reading goal. I read 127 books in 2024, this past year. I do not want to up the reading goal. I had 50, I think, the first year I made a goal, and then I upped it to 75 because for me, I knew that would push me to read more, and I knew I had the time to do that. And if I wasn't, it's because I was simply scrolling and not managing my time well. And I wanted to dedicate time to reading. So I'm gonna keep it to 75, and if I get there, I get there, and if I don't, I don't. So we have that same layout I had as last year. It's just boxes for me to color in. I, last year, colored them based on whatever the monthly spread kind of color theme was, and I kind of liked how that turned out. And then I have my rating system here, just a very vague. We know that I use 0.25, 0.5, and 0.75, but this just gives a general idea. Something different from last year is I created 2 of these guys. Okay, why is it so freaking dark? Created 2 of these guys. So this is my reading log, where I just have the title, the author, the date. The date is the date that I finished it, and then the rating. And so that is what this looks like. I have, I think it's 82 squares, and last year I ran out. So I made just a continuation of it for another page. So we'll see if I need it, but I wanted to have it just in case. And then the last spread that I made for my like annual overview is my 2025 new releases. I really liked having this last year. I hope to reference it a bit more. I haven't written on my phone, but this is just so pretty, and I can always add to it as other release dates change or they come out or whatever. So I really love how this turned out. And then like I said, that is the last one. So I will be creating my January spreads soon. I mean, today I'm filming this. It is the last day of the year. It is December 31st, and so I have today to make it. No, but I do want to make it hopefully in the next week. So those are all of the spreads that I have for my reading journal. Now I can kind of fix the lighting. That was just like a nightmare, huh? Okay, so we have my reading goal, check, 75 books. And my reading journal, check, loved how it turned out. It was so just better than last year, very similar pages. I didn't do the physical library kind of bookcase that I did last year. And I didn't do the bracket. I don't think I want to do that this year either. But I did, I guess I will show you, I did maybe think about implementing a bit of my 2025 reads into the library page. So last year I had this guy, and I loved how it turned out. I did not complete it, but I was thinking maybe I could use this as a fresh start and use that for 2025. So we'll see if I do that, but that is a goal, a thought that I had. Now for my kind of reading habit that I want to pick up for the new year is I have been seeing this book everywhere. Atomic Habits. Please let me know if you follow, the lighting is not lighting. Please let me know if you follow my fam over here on YouTube. When she lived out in LA, this was her Bible. This was her holy grail, and I really loved how she discussed it. I do not want a pure like self-help book of like, get your life together today. But this, I know habits that I want. I know habits that I already have that I want to strengthen. And I think the ways that she discussed this author's writing in here and the way that they discuss ways to just improve that. I mean, it says an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. It clicked with me when she talked about it. And she was just such like, she had such a good mindset when she was discussing all of these. And I think I could see the way that this book was really helping her in her everyday life. So I've been thinking about it for the last like 2 to 3 years, I want to say. But I will say that this is the year. I wanted to get this book in order to treat it sort of like a Bible. You know, like people do not just binge read the Bible. They read bits here and there, they write in it, they annotate it, they kind of reflect on how it can be used in their everyday life. That's kind of how I want to treat this. So tiny changes, remarkable results, like these are all about the small things that you can do to make your life better and easier. And I think that's what I want to do. Like maybe it's reading 1 chapter a week, or I don't know exactly how I want to implement it in kind of a system in my life, but this is a huge one that I want to read throughout the year. Maybe I'll finish it in the first half. I have no idea, but I'm very excited to read this, and I'm very excited to see what I can take from it in order to better my life and all of the goals and things that I want to achieve in the new year. So like I said, it's the last day of the year. It's currently December 31st, and I feel like I have officially checked off everything that I wanted to accomplish for my new year reset. So what perfect timing. I just feel so good heading into the new year. I feel like I'm in such a good mindset. I have such great people around me that I think are really going to help me achieve my goals, along with being an accountability partner for them because they have shared their own goals. I'm just really looking forward to this new year and starting it with just such great people and great mental health surrounding me. So I hope you guys took something from this video. Let me know if there's any like reset things that you always do for like a new month, a new week, a new year. Like I love a good reset, and I've been binging these videos for the last week straight. So thank you guys so much for resetting with me this year, and I will see you in my next one.